What's good, everybody? Zach here, South Alabama guy. Uh, Today we're towards the end of May. We're getting close to the start of the Atlantic hurricane season. I want to talk about something today that a lot of people are talking about: possible development in the Caribbean. Now, I'm going to say up top that there have been some indications of possible development, but to me, it's just not a enough consistent showing to say that now things change in the world of weather rapidly. So things can change, but right now I see some of the weak signals, but it's just there's just not enough consistency, and we're going to talk about that today. But a lot of people I've seen have been talking about it 1st of June in the Western Caribbean and possibly the Gulf, and we'll talk about that. Now, the GFS, we'll look at the GFS first. The GFS, 1st of May, I think on a run yesterday, but it was a little bit later, a little delayed, had a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico. Again, I said in my last video that you have to watch the GFS because it'll mess you up. You have to go by the ensembles and other models to check if the GFS scenario could be possible. It shows, I think we got a enhanced MJO phase coming 1st of June, so that's going to help get more moisture going in the Caribbean. But around this time, June 3rd, June 4th, the GFS already had a low pressure, and I'll go ahead and mark it right here, these showers and thunderstorms. The GFS at this time in previous models had a low pressure area already developed here, and now the latest run this morning does not show that, but instead it shows a later development. This is June 6th, Friday, June 8th, Sunday. Now it shows a low pressure right here getting going down here in the northwestern Caribbean. It has it trickling northwest because you got a high pressure out here. It's pretty strong, and it's pushing it to the west and west northwest. A lot of high pressure influence. But we'll play it on with the GFS. The GFS shows, we're going to zoom in right here. 994, that's almost a Cat 1 hurricane. 995, so that's a strong tropical storm. 990 going into northern Mexico and southern Texas towards the middle of June. And I'm not saying that's not possible, but again, the consistency is just not, to me, the consistency is just not there to even market right now. I mean, I don't speak, I'm not part of the NHC, I don't speak for the NHC, but right now I wouldn't mark until there's more consistency. Now, I said that sometimes we can get systems in May, sometimes we don't. And in my last video, I had mentioned that it didn't look like we were going to have anything in May, and that seems to be holding true. But I'll keep an eye on this scenario. We'll go over a few more model runs, see if things perk up 1st of June. But it does look like, we'll look at the ensembles in a minute, that you could, I mean, that's a long way out. It's a long way out, so it could change for less, but there are some signs that towards the middle of June, we could see something, but still, that's a long way away, so it's going to be hard to tell if that would verify or not. But we'll look at this in just a minute. I want to show the CMC. The CMC is a fairly reliable model. Now, if you play it, This is all the way to June 4th, June 5th, June 6th. And on CMC, they don't show anything, hardly. And I'm guessing, we're going to look at it in just a second, but I'm guessing the CMC will show a lot of dry air. But I mean, there's some showers around the Caribbean and Gulf, but it ain't showing nothing. So I don't know if I'll be able, well, I ain't going to be able to look at that on the CMC. All right, the icon, we're going to tell you, we don't look at the icon because the icon don't go far enough out, but for as far as it does go, it don't show much. Now the Euro, and typically, um, the Euro is usually when a system could start to form. The Euro is usually weaker when it's going to be stronger, and then the GFS is usually not all the time. The GFS can get it right sometimes, but a lot of times the GFS will show too strong of a system when it's not going to be that strong. Okay. Sometimes the Euro shows the system too weak to start with, and the GFS too strong. The Euro here, it's not going to go out far enough, so we'll show the 00Z. So let's play it. I'll show this real quick. There's the, I'm finna have a named system in the East Pack. I mentioned that too. There it is right there. Finna have, I think it's Alvin is the first name. East Pacific, we're gonna have that soon in the Pacific. But I don't do Pacific storms. I do Atlantic because I live in the United States in southern Alabama. So I'm worried about the Atlantic. All right, so this is the end of May. This is June 1st, which is Sunday. So Atlantic hurricane season starts this coming up Sunday. First, now you see increased shower activity on the Euro. Now the Euro's been showing this, showing a weak low pressure, but here's the showers and thunderstorms in the northwestern Caribbean, and the Euro shows it steadily moving west or west northwest, really very weak. And we'll continue to play it. You'll see the L pop up right over the Yucatan right here. Right here, 1,007 millibars is tropical depression. And you see some, it's not very organized, but you see some showers and thunderstorms around in there. Then you play it, you see the L go away when it gets in the Bay of Campeche. This is June 6th. And then it pops up again. So when it goes away and the L goes away and pops up back up like that, that means it's a very weak system. But this is June 6th. You see the Euro's got 1,008 millibar. That's a tropical depression. With limited, I mean, it's got there what you would typically want to see with a tropical system. I mean, there's a good bit of shower and thunderstorms, but I mean, it's not that big of a deal. And then it kind of fades away and gets pushed into Mexico. And the reason being is, if we zoom out North Atlantic, we zoom out right here, you got 3 high pressures right here. And we'll see, again, this is June 7th, so we're still a ways out. But there's 3 high pressures right here. And the high pressure influences go all the way through here. So anything like the European showing would go more towards the west to west northwest, somewhere in this area, more than likely. But that's the Euro's been showing a area low pressure like I just showed you, but the GFS showed it earlier, but then delayed it and showed a hurricane later in June than what it had been showing. And then the Euro shows a very weak low pressure at times. So, and then the CMC shows nothing. So, to me, that's just not saying it can't happen, but to me, it's just not enough consistency for me if I was doing it to market or to say anything's going to happen. Now, go back to the GFS. That's what I like to do. We'll go back to where the GFS was showing increased moisture, which is Wednesday, June 4th. Okay. We're going to look at the relative humidity, which shows you the moisture and dry air, and the GFS does show you got fairly decent dry air in the Gulf, but it shows more moisture here where you would have the CAG, the Central American Gyre, and the GFS has an area of low pressure right here close to Central America. It's the relative humidity, so you can see it. You can see increased moisture, and as we play it, the moisture increases. And there's the low pressure right here that the GFS shows around the 10th of June in the southern Gulf of Mexico with dry air around it. So I don't know if I believe that. You can see the dry air right there. That's going on right now. Let's see. Let's look at the wind shear. Now, here's another thing. Wind shear. I always like to look at the environmental conditions. It's the end of May, and you can see all this wind shear in the Caribbean and the Gulf. It's more pronounced, stronger in the Gulf than it is in the Caribbean. So that's the end of May. Play it forward. You still got a decent amount of wind shear. 1st of June. This is the 4th of June. This is about 1 p.m. June 4th. Caribbean. Bunch of wind shear in the Caribbean. And a good bit in the Gulf. Not totally covering the Gulf. Now you do have, looks like a trough or a tut kind of dipping down right here, but still with all this wind shear around here in early June, you got to have a bigger, to me, you got to have a bigger pocket than that for a system to get going, and that's what the GFS is showing, a lot of wind shear. Now if you go to the Euro, we'll go to the overnight run. Look at that wind shear right now. This is June 2nd, 1st of June, June 2nd, June 3rd. Now the Euro, see, the Euro is a little different from the GFS because in this part right here, because the Euro shows a decent pocket of non-existing wind shear. Really, that's a real low to no wind shear right there, but you still got wind shear around it, close by. So we'll see if that verifies. So the only thing that's keeping me aware to keep checking to see if anything changes is the Euro. You know, if the Euro starts going to where, I mean, it's showing a weak signal already, but if it starts going to where it shows hardly nothing at all, then I'm like, okay, GFS is wrong. GFS is doing what it's been doing again. CMC shows nothing, so, you know, but we'll see how that goes. That's why I like just every time the runs come out, watch it and see what I see. All right, I'm going to show you about the ensembles. This is a European ensemble about the system everybody's talking about in the Caribbean. And then I'm going to wrap this video up. This is June 4th. This is June 5th. So around June 4th, June 5th, they are, out of 51 Euro ensembles, there are a couple of ensembles in the Gulf. But I say a couple. Let's see. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you got 7. That looks like a 9. 7 out of 51 members showing the area in the Gulf in the 1st of June. So that's another reason why I'm kind of skeptical. But I'm not saying it can't happen, because you never know. But it just looks a little, it doesn't look that great right now. But if you play it towards, and this is the overnight run, towards the middle of June, you see a lot more circles right here. Now, again, not saying that's going to happen because it's far out. We don't know. But you have a lot more ensembles in the Caribbean and the Gulf right here on the Euro ensembles, which could be a sign of something, but that don't mean it's going to happen. So we'll just have to watch and see. Here's the GFS ensembles. This is the 4th. The 6th. So the GFS ensemble don't start really showing anything to the 7th. And it's got a bunch of members over here. But on the operational run, it shows an area of low pressure forming here and then moving this way, like the Euro does with the weak low pressure. Okay. And you can also see, if we can zoom out here, North Atlantic. We'll zoom in just a little bit. All right. And a lot of the models are consistent with this. There's the high pressure. You got a lot of high pressure influence. A lot. So the way the Euro was showing, if anything was going to happen at all, it'd be pushed probably this way, and somewhere in this area right here. Now, again, if I always have to put that out there, if. So that's the GFS. Let's see if we can zoom back in. Yes, we can. Okay, and here's towards the middle of June on the GFS ensembles, and it shows more ensembles around. When you look at the ensembles and you see the brighter colors, the more brighter colors you see, that means more likely the models are picking up on a decent chance of possibly something happening, but that don't mean it is. And then we'll look at the Canadian ensembles just to look. End of May, 1st of June. This is June 19th. So towards the middle of June, the colors are getting brighter on the CMC, but it just don't. There's just not much there. I mean, you got like, 2 or 3, maybe 4 ensembles there. And it shows a real strong high pressure, real strong influence right here. So everything's going to be pushed away. So again, that, I felt like I needed to address it because I've seen so many people talk about it. Am I saying 1st of June we're not gonna get a chance for tropical development? No. Am I? But I'm skeptical right now because I just don't. Again, the main thing for me is I just don't see enough consistency to say that anything needs to be marked right now. Could it change? Heck, it could change when the 18Z runs come tonight or the overnight runs. I don't know. But we're starting to get in the hurricane season. The waters are starting to get warmer. We do still have wind shear out there. There is the dust plume moving through as well. Dust, Saharan dust that helps suppress tropical development. So, and no, I'm not saying that the season's a bust. That anything's not gonna happen. The waters are warming as we speak, and we're in, as I mentioned in my last video, we're in a neutral phase. Possibly could be, I doubt it, but we'll see. I mean, anything's possible. Could be in a weak La Nina towards the peak of the hurricane season. We'll just have to see how that goes. But usually, like I said, with El Nino, which we don't have, the tropical activity is less in the Atlantic. La Nina, it could be more tropical activity in the Atlantic, and we're kind of in a neutral phase. But usually, in a neutral phase, you still can get a good amount of tropical systems. So, but the Atlantic season starts June 1st, and I'm going to keep looking at the models as I've been doing. I'm going to look at the 12Z when it comes out and the ensembles and see what it shows and go from there. And if I feel like I need to make another video, I will do so. Alright guys, that's it for this video. Y'all have a good day.